afternoon, industry colleagues, friends, and the leaders. Firstly, I would like to extend my gratitude to the organizers, ObserveNow, for organizing such a fantastic event and granting me an opportunity to moderate the session on acceleration AI adoption in the public sector, leveraging the trusted data as well as the hybrid data platforms which can be used as part of the PSUs. I extend a warm welcome to all our esteemed panelists for taking out time from the busy schedules as well as sharing their expertise and fine opinions with us. So we look forward to an engaging and insightful session with you. Firstly, sir, when we talk about AI, I don't want to start with a stereotypic statement that AI is just a buzzword. No, it is not. Now, if we observe, if we experience, we are using AI in every touch point in our daily lives, be it while we are interacting with virtual assistants like Siri or Alexa, or while drafting, or if we are composing an email. Google or any of the service providers provide suggestive text with respect to the document and email itself. However, at this particular moment and with the recent advancements that has happened in AI in the recent times, we are yet to discover the boundaries, the advancements that can happen in the future in the field of AI across all the industry sectors. If we talk about with the latest advancements of generative AI, it is reshaping all the industries, including public sector. As AI is evolving, as well as it is creating unique challenges for our public sector organizations and providing opportunities to how we can harness its potential. And today, we would like to understand your perspective, your insights, your opinions with respect to how the AI can be adopted in a fast-paced manner in public sector organizations through leveraging data foundation, data principles, ensuring the data governance across these departments in public sector organizations, and how we can leverage the cutting-edge technologies, like as highlighted by Mayank in the previous session, with respect to hybrid data platforms. And we would like to understand your perspective on that, sir. We'll start our panel discussion with Manoj Tandon, sir. So, you have been part of RailTel for a long time, sir. And RailTel has established a nationwide robust infrastructure. If we talk about, it includes 60,000 plus OFC, 60,000 kilometer of OFC laid across the railway tracks. It includes 20,000 kilometer of AFC across the city access areas. Then, at more than 6,000 railway stations, digital infrastructure is being established by RailTel, and so on and so forth. So we would like to understand that what are the primary challenges you foresee while adopting AI on these digital assets, and what are the promising AI transformations that has already been planned or are planned in the future from the RailTel perspective, sir?
Thank you. Good afternoon, distinguished guests, panelists, media friends, and industry colleagues. I think AI, if I recollect my engineering days, so AI was an elective. I'm talking about way back in 89, 88, 89. But those were the time when only it was an elective and hardly there was an industry buzzword around it. As he mentioned, you mentioned rightly that we are using AI in our daily life already. But it seems that now we are at the inflection point of a real tech evolution where AI and Gen AI are going to transform the way we think, the way we analyze, and the way we respond to a situation. AI is going to transform virtually every sector of the society we talk about. And I strongly believe that it's a core sector which need to be touched first. Public sectors are at the forefront of manufacturing as well as citizen-centric services. And hence public sectors are at the verge of getting a lot of operational efficiencies and productivity as well as governance through AI-led initiatives. The routine task are the mundane tasks, which are the first one, which can be targeted by AI initiative. And most of us know that the use cases typically like cyber security-related use cases, especially because cyber security is always a human-led initiative in most of the sectors. But in case, and the competency is normally low, especially at the public sector, because we are not able to attract that kind of manpower because of wage structure, salary structure and all. So that's the first thing which a machine learning or AI initiative can help us a lot in terms of leapfrogging to a different level altogether. More so when we are always at the target of the attackers, being serving towards the government as well as the citizens. The healthcare, so one thing I want to say that before AI discussion is that there are a lot of ground-based work which has to be done. AI cannot create magic unless you digitize most of your assets, your workflows, your products, and your transactions. And healthcare, I'll just give you an example wherein we implemented this HIMS automation in railway hospitals. Last 2.5 to 3 years, it has transformed the way hospitals and doctors and the support staff as well as the users interact with the health management system. In today's world, after the implementation, they have all digitized process in terms of booking appointment with a specific doctor. So on mobile app itself, the user can see that this doctor at this hospital is available or not for appointment. He need not to call hospital. Entire health records of the patients are available on the mobile app itself. The inventory management in terms of the perishable inventory as well as the medicine inventory, the stock of inventory, the life of the inventory, the shortage of inventory, the oversupply of the inventory, the doctor occupancy, which was another point which before we took the project. So those things, groundwork is done. So now we are taking a pilot wherein we are going to put AI-led initiative, do a pilot, and see whether we can do some kind of learning exercise for automated decision support systems on the inventory of perishable stock of medicine as well as the diagnostic material. Of course, the health records will also be a target area, but that we will see next project. We are also implementing an AI-based smart enforcement system for government of MP for geology and mining department. This initiative is very, very different than most of the AI initiative because the smart enforcement system represents a groundbreaking initiative which is encompassing the smart gates. The smart gates comprises of very high precision cameras which are able to track the vehicle movement along with the vehicle number, the driver, the vehicle type, the mass of the vehicle, and the mineral which is being carried out or carried in. So that means that the Ministry of Geology and Department in MP is now able to track at least in 2-3 areas where we have implemented that what is the movement of going on and the kind of mineral and supply which a truck is carrying. And most of us know that a lot of the unauthorized or illegitimate happenings happen on the sand part as well as the mining part. Agriculture is another area which we are thinking of a lot in terms of how do we touch the grassroots level, because there are solutions in the market, though not very mature, but based on imagery, the crop yield can be predicted, the kind of crop which can be cultivated can be suggested to farmers, and more so when there is a huge digital divide between the rural area and the urban areas. Narcotics is another area which many of us may not be knowing, is that narcotics fields are under government supervision, but they are cultivated by private farmers. and they are under close control of police surveillance, that what kind of products they are growing, how much yield are reporting, and how much yield is being there in actually field. But those are all manual process. Now you have satellite images which can tell you the type of the crop in those narcotic fields, the kind of cultivation, the mass of cultivation, what he has done, and the mass of the that crop which he has reported. So basically, there is a X percentage of the narcotics which goes into the market for circulation by a different set of people. So that thing also can put a lot of governance parameters wherein the supply of drugs, illegitimate drugs, can be controlled by this kind of automation solution. CCTV is definitely an area where we are working, where we are implementing the CCTV surveillance across all stations. And FRS-based system is a very, very common use case now on the AI-based system, wherein you can detect people who are blacklisted or grey-listed in terms of where they are moving, where are they going, where they are coming. Coming to challenges is that since I have been in automation industry for almost 1/3 of my career, I always believe that it is a mindset which has to be trained first before training the bots. The digitization of mind first has to happen. The technology adoption is slower or does not happen because our minds are still analog. So until as we think digitally and we think progressively in terms of the use cases, in terms of ROI metrics, that what kind of ROI metrics is there for such investment, especially when there is a lot of demographic difference between the urban area and rural area. So since manpower is cheap here, so people always compare manual process versus automated process. But I think in those kind of discussions with finance and the business case metrics, we often forget about the agility. In today's world, the agility is the key word in terms of supporting the use cases, real-time use cases, versus the offline processes which are dragged for weeks and months and all together. Capacity building is another thing, I think, which we can think of as an industry, and we are also working on some initiative on capacity building wherein we have to teach at the grassroots level. In the previous session, this was being discussed, and hence I wanted to bring this point up front, is that the engineering colleges or the colleges, science colleges, they are still teaching age-old curriculum. We are not teaching the technology at the grassroots level. And hence we find a lot of gap. The reskilling or upskilling of the students who come out of the college takes a lot of time. So probably the education system also has to evolve so that they understand the basic concept of IoT, AI, and generative AI, and other evolving technologies, so that the generation can pick up faster once they come from college to industry. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing the perspective with respect to the emerging applications that has been developed by RailTel. If we talk about MIS, HMIS, AR, VR-based solutions, CCTV surveillance inbuilt with facial recognition system, sir. Thanks for your input, sir. Moving next to Vijay Devnath, sir. So, you have been part of CRIS, and CRIS has played a vital role in digitalization of the Indian railways, be it the perspective of the passengers, and if we talk about the internal stakeholders, sir. On a daily basis, sir, various IT technology-related systems are catering to the ticketing needs of 2 crore plus passengers, with a capability of 25,000 transactions per minute with respect to the booking, railway ticketing, and handling 20 crore plus passenger queries with respect to train status, arrival, departure, digital payments, etc. In a nutshell, sir, we can say that CRIS can be considered as a mine of data, where enormous data is being produced on a daily basis, and with an objective to modernize the existing applications, leveraging AI technologies. What are the leading practices which can be adopted to ensure the accuracy, reliability, and the security of the data? Since we all know that we are in an era of cyber security threats, sir. We would like to understand your perspective around this, sir.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry for starting so late. Reasons may be known to you. Yes, as you rightly pointed out, CRIS has collected a lot of data, and it is basically a railways data, which is we are the custodian of it. We are helped by many other organizations to maintain that data, including RailTel and other service providers. Now coming to the using AI part. I will like to draw your attention to a large circular chart which is floating around in the internet, which shows where Gen AI fits into the whole AI thing. Okay, so AI is not new. It has been there for almost 2.5 decades old, and we have been using AI of that kind, predictive analytics and all that, for a long, long time. The feature you see on the PRS or ticket booking site, where it suggests the other alternative train instead of booking a long waiting list, etc. These are all analytics-based solutions. May not be Gen AI, but they are predictive analytics. And for that, few things are very necessary in the data. Number one is quantity as well as quality. We have a lot of quantity, but the quality is left to somebody else to analyze. Because what happens is that in the rush to shore up the figures and all that, our KPIs and all, we are very loose with sometimes with the data. And we forget that later on this data is going to get into the models, and then it becomes a GIGO kind of thing. So that is one. And if we come to the latest trend of generative AI, few other things have got added into these challenges. One challenge is that most of the Gen AI research which is going on is trained on the data which is Europe or West focused, or maybe China has their own Chinese focused. So we need data which is India focused, because India is a country with a lot of diversity and a lot of other issues, which I will not like to name here, but those data has to cater for that. Another issue which we find in our data while we feed into the models is the bias creeping in. Biases are of various kind, both from the gender bias, caste bias, religion bias and all. These are two types of, two sides of the same coin. Somewhere in our recruitment and in our other policies, we need this data very prominently, because otherwise some people will be left out in our policies and all. So we have to keep that data. But while we are doing other kind of modeling of, say, passenger modeling or different kind of route modeling, these kind of data should not get into the models or in the databases, where it can bias the output. So that kind of thing is also there. Sometimes we try to remove the bias from the food choices and all that, which we serve through the IRCTC applications and all. So these are some of the bias issues which need to be kept and sometimes need to be removed. So we are now debating between where to remove, where to keep these biases or the data points in the model training. Another point which is there is the real-time analytics. Most of the Gen AI models, they are pre-trained, and then only the inference is done at our level, at the end user level. So in railway operations, the situation changes by the minute. So we need to have a model which can ingest the real-time data, clean it up, and use it for making the inferences. So these kind of data management issues are cropping up when we go into the vast amount of old data. And as we go older into the data for training purposes, we find that the quality of data is even worse in earlier, because there were no electronic means to collect the data and correct the data in the real time. So now we have a lot of conditions built into the applications so that the data does not get corrupted that easily. But earlier days, the data was on paper and then fed into the system. So those issues have cropped up. So we are trying to improve the data quality also, and then feed into the localized models, and then take the output and feed into the inference systems, which then can remove the bias and then give a better result.
Thank you, sir. Your perspective is really enlightening for all of us, sir. Moving next to Saubhagya, sir. So all of the public sector undertakings are a complex, large organization, sir. And there is a responsibility of scaling up the solutions, scaling up the citizen-centric services across the states as well as districts. Sir, if we talk about IGL, sir, in last 25 years, sir, IGL has been incorporated in 1999. Initially, in 1999, sir, the first project that was taken over for the Delhi Gas Network Limited was catering to 9 CNG stations and 1,000 PNG consumers, sir. But if we talk about today, in 2024, sir, we have almost 100 times of the CNG stations, around 900, plus IGL is catering to around 30 lakh plus PNG consumers on a regular basis, sir. So we would like to understand that since you have been part of IGL for the last 17 years, and you have contributed in establishment of integrated and comprehensive ERP and CRM systems, what were the key leading practices that has been adopted? And what do you think, sir? What do you think that AI, if we talk about scaling AI in IGL or any of the PSUs, what should be the leading practices that should be adopted by the organization, sir?
Thank you, everyone, and good afternoon. And thank you, ObserveNow, for giving me opportunity to discuss on this topic in presence of august audience and my eminent panelist. Before, I think, speaking on that line, just I would like to tell something about IGL. IGL is, you know, it is a city gas distribution company, and rightly said, it has grown a lot in that way. Now we are serving around 3.3 million PNG customer in Delhi NCR region and some other states also. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You started at the very beginning, very less thing, but due course of time we evolved, and lot many things we have implemented in our scenario. And usually my only concern is, though we have done lot many things, but we have to see from the scratch, what is our objective? That is, first we have to see. It should be matching with our objective, mission, and that thing. So now, IGL perspective, I can say our mainly objective is to customer experience, enhancing. Now that customer experience point of view, everybody is thinking, we are also thinking that line. And enhancing the customer experience is the main criteria. This is for external customer point of view. And for internal point of view, that is our internal, you mean to experiencing our internal customers. That means for that point of view, we have to first, you have to build our clear strategy. Meeting, that clear strategy should be meeting with our business critical missions as well as thing. Then strategy, suppose you will create a strategy, then definitely you have to create accordingly, you have to create the plan, and plan, you have to plan, according to plan, you have to build who are the stakeholders, and You have to, that communicate, the stakeholder is so very important in that way. Who are the stakeholders? And stakeholder, then maybe, I think that customer, that may be internal, maybe your third-party vendors in that way. They are also very important in playing the role. These are the best practices we have evolved during this period. We have done lot many things, but we have, I think, find out this is the right way to do for implementing any AI projects or initiative within your organization or any. It is applicable to all the sector in that way. So that clear strategy is gone, then you have to build up your plan, and according to plan you have to identify the stakeholders, and then communication is also important. You have to explain them what are the things you have to do. What is the outcomes you will get out of it. Because any time management is just thinking what we will get out of it. Not like nothing that suppose we will get a something, suppose we are spending 100 rupees and suppose and after implementing this and only we can save that 100 rupees, then what is the purpose of use of this type of use cases? So find out the use cases is also important. That's why the strategy and use cases, that is important. So as far as IGL is concerned, we have basically the customer experience is that we have implemented this in empowering customer point of view. The self-billing, we have done the self-billing. That is very important for us. There's a customer can do his billing himself. We have done the for your point of call center automation. That call is coming up. We have done some kind of AI-enabled voice bot, so that the cost can reduce in the so many minimum 30% calls has already we have avoided. So that can be the result through the bot only. So these are the things we have to identify. These are the, because these are the critical for us. That's why we have mission critical things that we have identified. Good, none the thing. Then after come to the data. Data is very important. We have to identify the data, what type of data is there. That clean data should be there. If garbage will be there, then garbage output will come. So first you have to clean that data. During course of time, lot many data is evolved, but you have to identify data, you have to put in the system so that it will give the better data. Sir is said, rightly said, data is very important, but clean data is very important as per my concern. That clean data you have to do due course of time and you have to input in the system. Then last but not least, you can say that governance mechanism. That governance mechanism is very important. You have to do how it will take care and how the things will be done in later, because this is evil. Because data is anybody is looking. That data should be correct. But suppose any example I am giving in AI part, suppose 3 persons said 2 plus 2 equal to 5. Then after some time it will come that 2 plus 2 is 5. But it is not that. That ethical thing will come. That ethical part we have to do in that such a way that that data should come in accurate. That is also important. Third part is infrastructure. That infrastructure is we have to, so nowadays it is on-prem infrastructure, cloud infrastructure. That you have to identify the which infrastructure is best for us. That is infrastructure is very important for that. So these are the, majorly we are following all these steps during any implementation of AI services. So these are the, as per my point of view, it is very important for us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for bringing a unique clarity to the subject, sir. My next question is to Alok, sir. So since we have talked about AI implementations, we have talked about the challenges, we have talked about the data that is being generated through various IT systems, sir. A crucial factor is how are we training the AI models? What kind of fine-tuning is being done? We would like to understand that the modeling, the training that we are intending to do, it should meet the business objectives as well as predict the correct information, the outcome correctly, sir. So what measures can be taken to mitigate biases in AI model while we are dealing with a sensitive public data and we have a mandate to have a compliance with respect to the DPTP Act 2023, sir?
Thank you, Sunny. Wonderful question. I don't know how much justice I'll be able to do. But before that, first thanks to ObserveNow for giving the platform to share my thoughts. And a quick disclaimer, views expressed are personal, nothing related to any organization that I've served either in past or present. You touch upon a very pertinent point because AI, use case and an ecosystem are driving number of things. First is business utility. And then you come across, even if the business utility exists, you have to provide a solution for which another ecosystem is required, from starting from the sensor to the GPU which is processing and then throwing out some kind of. So this entire ecosystem is being used to train, is in some way associated with training of the model. And when people are designing, when use cases are thrown up in the discussions, brainstorming sessions, they sound very good. When you actually sit on the drawing board, this becomes slightly difficult, and when you start going at delivery and actual training part of the model, your life becomes miserable. Some of the use cases which are regarding computer vision, etc., which are established use cases, which you can use established frameworks which are already there, are good, ready to serve. But custom use cases become a challenge, and I personally have had issues with, have first-hand experience on 2 custom use cases. One is anomaly detection, and simple anomaly detection in train operations, where you wanted to detect a wagon which door was open. What camera do you use? What frames per second input do you take? Because the camera number of frames per second that image it throws out, it actually creates overlapping images. Which image do you discard? Which do you use to train the model? And we have been doing it for almost, trying to fine tune it for almost more than about 6 months, and we are still miles away from satisfactory output. And that was first part of it. Even sentiment analysis, we are looking at custom kind of a sentiment analysis. People generally pick up feeds from Twitters, your YouTubes, etc., what are open sources feeds that are available. But then these feeds per se are biased. आप जब भी open source से data ले रहे हैं, public data ले रहे हैं, if I'm aggrieved, I come and say I'm aggrieved. If I'm not aggrieved, I don't, or if I'm happy, I don't go and voice as much. So the quality of data per se which comes in from public data has an inherent bias. To deal with that inherent bias, you can probably do some kind of what people do normalization. But the normalization model in itself is again a function of time and space. आप कहाँ पे बैठे हैं, कहाँ का data ले रहे हैं, और किस तरह से normalize कर रहे हैं. अगर वो mixed data है तो और normalization is again another difficult task that you have to do. So to answer your question, after all the time that I have spent here and there, is that each model requires its unique training based on the unique business case and the uniqueness of its business solution. So that is what, so everyone will have a different experience and a learning curve with each use case. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So your perceptive is really a credible observation, sir. So we are working we are working as a project management consultant for Mahakumbh, and we are facing similar challenges, sir, because from the user experience, pilgrim experience perspective, the administration wants to establish a AI chatbot using GenAI, but whether we should proceed with the standard available LLMs or we should train the internal open source LLM, that is a critical thing, sir. And moving next, sir, Abhijit, sir. So we have talked about various facets of AI adoption, sir. The government of India has a dedicated focus on how AI can be implemented, scaled up across the organizations. And in March 2024, sir, Cabinet has approved a national level India AI mission, sir. It has got 7 components, sir. One of the critical components is with respect to the safe and trusted AI system, sir. So we would like to understand your perspective that how public sector organizations can ensure that their AI systems are transparent, ethical, and accountable, sir.
Yeah, thanks. Actually, very pertinent question. But first, I feel as far as taking care of our personal information has always been as important, whether be it with the usage of AI or not. So with our traditional systems also, we have been handling personal information for long. So I think it is no different whether be it a traditional system or an AI/ML system or a generative AI system. The importance or the ways that we have to handle the personal information is the same. Only that the imperative has become more important right now because with more and more uses of AI and generative AI. For us also in Indian Oil, we also hold a huge repository of personal information of our customers, or rather I can say the citizens of India. So it is important to take care of them. First of all, for any organization, be it a PSU or a government, we have to have a clear set of guidelines as to what consists of the personal informations and what AI models to use, whether cloud-based AI models or on-prem solutions to run such models. So there should be a clear definition of what represents a personal or sensitive information and what not. So there should be a clear-cut guidelines to it. And it's not that only guidelines are created, the guidelines has to be adhered to. That is one. Secondly, we need to have a very transparent method where, say, whenever we use AI or whenever we are actually whenever we have used the personal information as part of our solutions, we need to keep it transparent, keep it informed. I mean, the citizens should be informed that personal information is being used, and there should be some disclaimers, or there should be some publications regarding telling the citizens of what is AI and how AI is helpful, or how AI is being used for that particular use cases. Apart from that, we can also create a robust feedback mechanism so that we can get the feedbacks from the citizen and then act on it. Internally, what we can do, we can carry out audit trails to ensure accountability and adherence to all the guidelines that have been framed. So that is an important point. Also, we should collect whatever only is required for that particular use case. Not that we collect all the data and keep it exposed. So again, whenever we collect some personal information, we should try to mask it for every use case. Yes, robust security measures is required, and as we have already spoken about, capacity building is required, not only at the citizens level, but also at the departmental levels, at the respective institutional levels on AI ethics and the risk involved. As far as Indian Oil is concerned, we have been harnessing AI, as Devnath ji has already told, since long, but not generative AI. So we have been using AI/ML use cases to harness or optimize our performance of the refineries, or try to generate information, intuitive information out of our customer data. But now, with the advent of generative AI, it is necessary that we explore these technologies to further our use cases. But however, what we are taking steps one by one. Whenever there is a use case, we first try out, do a POC on a very small scale, take the learning, and ensure that nothing wrong is happening out of it, and then only we look up for scaling it up. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing your perspective and insight, sir. Moving on to our next speaker, sir. Piyush, sir. Sir, we have talked about data. We have talked about this data can be in any form, be it a machine data, transaction data if we talk about railways, or it can be an unstructured or structured data, sir. And these systems can host these data in any of the platforms, sir. Be it like on any of the models like on-prem data centers, hybrid cloud, public cloud, private cloud, and even the edge devices. Which if we talk about surveillance cameras, they have got micro SD card to have a local edge-based storage. We would like to understand your perspective with respect to how can a unified data platform can support in acceleration of the AI adoption in public sector organizations, and if you can enlighten us with few of the examples that has already implemented similar solutions.
Sure. First of all, thank you everyone and good afternoon. Great question. So while we have looked at the aspect of how AI is changing, it's very important to understand that what's going behind the scene to actually accelerate the AI journey, AI adoption, and build these AI applications, right? And if we just look at the what goes beneath, there are different elements that kinds of enable this AI adoption, right? The first and the most important thing which everyone discussed was the data, right? And this data, as you rightly pointed out, it could be transactional, it could be machine data, it could be system generated, it could be public data available across the places. What we see is this data could be residing very local to the data centers where the enterprises are trying to build the application, or this data could be available in places like a cloud, right? So the most important thing, if I need to extract the entire journey, I need to first understand that what are the different elements or different parts of the life cycle of a AI model building activity, right? Where I develop an application. And if I have to extract the journey, I need to make sure that all these important elements which are participating in the life cycle are being addressed in a way that extracts the adoption journey, right? So the first one is that if I have to process the data at scale, I need a unified data platform, right? Which process the data at scale massively, right? Locally where it's available. Because if I have to move the data from one place to the another, right? The data migration itself is the most costliest activity, and it's the most time consuming activity. So if I have to shorten the cycle, I need to be able to process the data where the data is available. And this is actually be done by a true unified platform, which is available not only in the on-prem, but also in the cloud, right? And when we say cloud, the data could be residing onto multiple cloud, or in the government, India government has already initiated the MeitY cloud, right? So that's where even if the data is present, you should be able to process it then and there. That's the one most important element. The second one is when we look at from a technology point of view, AI, and if we break down the AI activity, we need to churn the data, we need to train the data, as you rightly pointed out. We need to identify which models are the right models, because I can't just deploy the model which is overfitted or underfitted. It has a bias in its output, right? I need to make sure that we observe the output of the models through an experimentation phase where we kind of see that this is the best fit model to be deployed in production, right? And that entire life cycle again need to be managed in a more efficient and effective way, where a lot of folks are collaborating. Data scientists are collaborating with the data engineers and data analysts. So the best model could be deployed and monitored and managed in the production, right? So from a perspective of our entire ML ops life cycle, we should be able to have a unified platform which kinds of provide that ability to manage the life cycle. And we know whether we talk about Gen AI, we talk about audio to text conversion, we talk about CCTV, video analytics. At the end of the day, all these NLP processing requires heavy computing, right? From a massive computing perspective, we should be able to have a platform technology in place which can scale horizontally, can ensure that the AI models are being trained, deployed at scale, and the entire life cycle is managed, right? And Cloudera machine learning workbench provides that. The third and the most important thing is the security and governance, which most of the panelists did talk about. Because this data is with respect to the citizens, right? A lot of PI information is present. So the right usage of the data is very important. Who is using it, where it is being used, and are there any violation of the policies which are defined. So from an AI adoption point of view, it's very important that the data is secured, data is governed, and there's a data lineage which is also being established. And to ensure that the right security guidelines and the regulatory compliance are being addressed, the technology should be able to deliver on that, right? And there are a lot of important elements, critical elements that Cloudera provides out of the box that kind of addresses this space. The fourth and the most important piece is the real time. A lot of AI applications that we are seeing right now may not be like need to act in real time. For example, disaster recovery, right? I mean, if a disaster has happened, the action should be, from an AI perspective, the action should be happening right at that moment and not like after the span of a time when the event has already happened, right? Or even from a law enforcement agency's point of view, if they need to act swiftly, they need to have that insights coming out at speed to them. So what's important is, from a unified data platform perspective, they should have the ability to consume the data at speed as it's coming, and the inferences of the model at scale should be able to act on that incoming data and deliver it to the end user, right? And the entire, as I said, the life cycle and all needs to be coming together. That's exactly what Cloudera provides. So if I have to combine all these pieces together, I mean, what we are looking at is that a technology which runs across not only at, I mean, it should be infrastructure agnostic. It should be deployed across the board where the data is residing. The technology, the enabler for this accelerating the AI path, it should be secured and governed. And once I build the application, going through the entire MLOps lifecycle, I will be able to deliver improvised citizen services. I will be able to reduce the, I would be able to optimize the resources, and this will ensure that the PSUs are able to make decisions based on the data and not based on the biases, right? And that's exactly what Cloudera helps and enables. Thank you.